30 seconds to go. This is the Rhino Racing Crit Series. This race is done after I did my 4 races, so I'll probably drop this Friday. But this was a race I did like 1 hour after I did my 4 races for the Zwift Insider. This was a pretty good race. It wasn't really super competitive, so I sped up most of it. I just put it out so that you can see I'm really getting better at my long distance ride, and I'm doing longer rides. I think this one was more like 12 miles, and we're off. And I did this race because it was one of the races I was going to do after I did the Zwift Insiders anyway. And so I got the Zwift Insiders done, and this race came up right about 45 minutes, right in an hour after the Zwift Insider races. And I'm doing a lot more races back to back now, building up endurance, building up the ability to keep going, because I know as I get more into Zwift, I'm gonna do longer and longer races. Sunday I'm not gonna do any races. I may do a community ride. I really doubt that. I kind of juice on Sunday for about every 2 months. I juice for enough. I do enough juicing to last about 2 months. So I'm a juice Sunday, and that's usually take me all day long. So I'm gonna do that. But outside of that, I'm on here and I'm riding. And like I said, I didn't really have a lot of competition on it. I had some people keeping up with me, but it really wasn't like all-out war race. It was just a race so that I can get my exercise in. As you can see, I moved the screen down some. I ain't got it all the way so the mileage is just visible, but I'm trying to adjust it still. But you can see what I'm putting out, the power I'm putting out at the bottom. I'm not putting out a lot of power. In fact, I'm trying to ease. I stay mostly, I think I told myself I'm gonna try to stay for the first couple of laps like 300, 350, staying in the green, mostly the blue. And you can see that's why I'm pretty much standing as I ride this ride. I was riding this ride in pretty much like a Zwift group ride, and it gave me a chance to just I'm finding a pace. That's what I'm starting to learn. Can I put out the same power I put out before when I was doing all this? Yes, I can, but it's a lot easier to put out a higher wattage, but not as high as I used to. Like I can put out 400, 450. 400 really, and I can ride at 400 I can ride a 400 watt ride for 30 minutes, I think, pretty much. It doesn't bother me to do it. I may slow down here and there, but for the most part, if it's just something like this over here on this land, where I like the way it looks more like a Tokyo scene or a Japanese scene. It's really I love this site where they choose. Now you see some people pass me on the race, like you see someone just pass me here, but for the most part, it was just a casual ride. I wasn't trying to really blow them out, and then I think at the end, I think with a half a mile left or a quarter mile, somewhere in there, I put in a lot of power, but it wasn't about the power on this race. This was just more finding a pace and sticking with it. This wasn't nobody. I think I did a race the other day, Friday, where I was just pretty much I put in a higher pace because oh God, I gotta see it again. I was bumped, but that race, I put in that power because I wanted to, push myself for a while. But here, I'm all about keeping my pace, keeping my calmness, just about riding. And the reason I did this, another reason is because I knew I was kind of tired from the Zwift Insiders, because that's an hour race. Even though it's not an hour long race, it's just cut up into pieces throughout an hour. I wanted to go ahead and keep pushing myself while I was still kind of tired. So that's why I went on and did that. Gave myself a little time, even though I couldn't find a race that I really wanted to run right after the Zwift Insider. If I could have found one, I probably would have ran it. But this race right here is just about me just getting, if you look at the numbers, I'm putting up a pretty decent pace as I go around this track. I'm not flying like crazy. I'm not overextending myself. It's just all about having a nice pace speed. They give me a thumbs up. I'm glad they did, because I would have totally forgot or wouldn't have done it, and it's not on purpose. If somebody's riding around and you see me riding and then I don't put them back up, a lot of times I go back into Zwift Insider and I try to give the thumbs back up. And another thing, I want to thank people who do leave me comments. These comments are helping me become a better racer, better rider. Now I know I want to do the seasonal. I just don't know what days of the seasonal and what days they race on. I'm learning all that now with the Z-Sun, so I'm actually starting to figure all that out. But I'm really happy with where I'm at right now. I really didn't think I would be as far as I am. I'm close to 50 races already. I started on June 29th. So I'm almost up to 50 races. So I'm putting in the races left and right. I actually started, I need to start doing some more workout routines again, because the racing is kind of starting to dominate what I do. I don't feel guilty about it too much because I do a hydro roll a lot. So that gives me another place where I can get a little routine in and I can get the exercise in. So the rower actually helps me out a whole bunch. But on here, it's all about just getting the routine down and getting. And I think I told myself at one point, I think I said on the second lap I was gonna try to keep it over 300. And I think on the last lap, I may be wrong if I can remember correctly, I told myself I was gonna keep it up over 400. So as we ride through this, you can see that I'm doing pretty good. Now they are around me, I think. Yeah, the guy catches up to me. And he rides around with me for a while, up until like the last quarter mile when I think he starts to get tired, so he starts to fall back. But for the most part, it's all about just getting the exercise in and getting the physical, getting the feel of the race. So with this today, I did this one, and I have one more I'm gonna do in the morning. But it's gonna be a different time. I have to get out there super early tomorrow, so I think I'm gonna end up waking up early and trying to do a 2 o'clock race. I don't know which one it is. If they have a race to the world, I will do it, but it may not get posted to Thursday when I get back. But I'm thinking about doing a race to the world. If I don't, I'll do a race to the world Thursday and just post it that day. But I kind of like getting the race to the world out. It's kind of cool race to get out there. Now, if they have a Torture Fest, but I think Torture Fest is only on Thursdays. So if they have a Torture Fest, I'll do it. But I think that was the only, and I mean, only on Sunday and Saturdays, the Torture Fest races. So I'm gonna see, I hadn't looked ahead yet, so I'm gonna see what they have for the morning that I can run. And that's mostly gonna be what I run for the race, for the most part during the race. Now, as you see on this race, we're coming up on the last lap. And I wanna say, I'm gonna call him M because I don't want to mess his name up, but he's out in front of me. He actually pulls away at somewhat in there, and I'm like, I'm seeing him do it, but I'm just trying to keep him in sight. So for the most part, I'm just trying to keep him in sight. There's a part right here where we're riding on right here. This is pretty fast, even though it's a flat ground. It's just slightly negative. This area right here is pretty fast for me. I noticed that when I was riding this race about the second lap, I noticed that when I would come through there just pedaling at about 200, right at 300 watts, I was doing 25 miles an hour, and I was like, wow, this is like a little fast section right in this race. So I knew when we came up to the end, I didn't have to really put in a whole bunch of power because we were gonna be doing it right there. Now, when I got to this part right here, I think this is what I told myself, I was gonna keep it up over 400 the rest of the race. I wasn't gonna kill myself. I wanted to go in the yellow and just kind of keep it there. So that what this part was about, was mostly just getting into the yellow and just keeping it there. And I figured if I just kept it around 400 and just let him ride with me, which is 400 for me is 2.6, 2.7, no, 2.5, 2.6. So that's where that's at for me. So I knew he was riding at that pace, so I figured he might stay right behind me, right up on me. But you can see that I'm not, my heart rate is 148. I'm feeling great about the race. I'm not worried about, like I said, the losing part is not really that bad because I looked at it and I was like, okay, if I lose, I come in, what, 5th, 6th? So that's the way I'm starting to look at all the races. I used to look at these races, I'm being honest with you, I used to look at them and go, man, I don't want to lose, and I don't want to fall way out of it, and I used to worry about it. Now I'm more about, I want to win, but I want to learn how to win so I can continuously place as I move up. I want to place a lot. Sometimes it's not about always winning. You want to place and do good with that. So as I slow it down here, you see I'm about a quarter mile from the end. I think I'm gonna wait for the numbers to come up and then I'm gonna put the power in. I think that's what I did on this race. I wasn't sure, but I was kind of tired. I'm not gonna lie about this. I was tired from literally like an hour earlier. I just did the Zwift Insider Races, so they kind of wore me down. But this was a great race for just learning how to do things with it, how to keep a pace, and that's what this race was for, and I did a great job at that. I want to also thank everybody. Leave comments, please like and subscribe. I'm happy to have y'all around. I'm glad y'all stay and watch my races. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Ride on.